just start right in. Now, this is FNGR for Limbo Podcast. Joining us today, our co-host will be Cloud Cuckoo Country.
Hello again.
And this is a special, long-time privilege that I've waited to get to. I'm just going to stop hamming it up. This is Digibro.
Hello, everybody.
Before I take over, do you have any questions you would like to lead out?
I feel like you should edit in just one of those. Hell, it's about time.
I'll put a boomer or something as long as I remember. So let's see. Cloud, do you have any things that you want to lead in with?
Yeah, but you can start.
Okay. For fans of any fan base, is there any advice that you'd like to give to them before they conceivably inalienate, like, I don't know, a speaker or a head of, before possibly driving them off?
What do you mean?
Well,
I was thinking the same thing.
yeah, I guess I didn't do that properly.
That was oddly phrased.
Well, for enthusiastic fans that just basically don't seem to take well with I'm trying to think of how I could properly word this.
Are you saying, like, how would I react to fans?
No, how would you if you were in a fandom, like, right off the bat,
Okay,
and there was somebody who was there's someone deeply respected, and you see, like, fans are perhaps being too harsh on, like, a figurehead within that fan base, what advice would you lend to those other fans to not drive off, cheapen the experience?
I think when it's weird to me when people are acting that way, and of course I'm in an interesting position here because I've been a figurehead in the My Little Pony community.
That's exactly what I was getting at.
Have people sort of criticizing me. I think it's hard for me to take criticism of me seriously from most of the people who do it because it's so obvious that most of them don't really follow my content, like, or never paid much attention to it, never really understood it. Because a lot of the criticism that I receive, it'll be stuff like, for instance, people who think I hate the season 4 finale of My Little Pony. And I made a video on it when it came out, and in my video I say very clearly in the video, I don't hate this episode. I think it's all right, and then I list a bunch of criticisms of it. But so when people say stuff like, "Oh, that Digi, he just hated the season 4 finale" and stuff like that, I get the sense that those people didn't pay attention. They didn't understand the video in the first place. So I think when this happens, when a figurehead gets taken down, it's almost always because of sort of rumors and hearsay, right? Because there's a lot of people who don't even watch my videos who say things like, "I never watched that Digi guy, but ever since I heard about him dissing season 4 finale, I'm like, forget him." So it's sort of like a weird group thinky thing where everyone just gets into this mindset that person has changed, or that person this or that. I guess it just comes with fame and popularity. People are going to spread rumors about you. Any famous person could tell you, I'm sure, like any real famous person, that they get tabloids written about them, that rumors spread about them, which are probably not even close to reality. It's something that just comes with the nature of having a lot of people talk about you and having enemies and people who don't like you and want to to ruin your name and stuff like that. So
Mr. Past Analysis is joining us for the evening.
Hello.
I was going to lead in, was there a definitive last straw for you?
With what?
Moving on from Pony Analysis, or was it just time to go?
It was mostly just time to go. I mean, I was pretty tired of. If I had to say that there was a last straw in, like, my relationship with the people watching my videos, it would have been what was the name of that episode? Rainbow Falls, where I wrote a video that was very critical of the episode, but I was really proud of the video itself because I felt that I had come at the episode from such an interesting angle, and the fact that I didn't really care for the episode was not the point. Like, the ideas I had about it were a lot more interesting, and the response I got was just all these people who were mad at me for hating the episode, and it didn't seem like they really got anything out of the analysis like I did, where I was having fun, I was having a good time, and I had all these people sort of just defending the episode when my point was not to criticize it. So I got a lot of backlash for that, and that was the first time when there started to be sort of this movement of people going, "I'm so sick of the analysis community." There was like a big thread on
You mean
on
it wasn't
Reddit.
Castlemania? I thought it was Castlemania.
Castlemania led into it, but it was really where the breaking point would be Rainbow Falls, where it like really got to because there was a thread and it was on the R My Little Pony subreddit. Right now, my videos never did that great there, so I never really thought that people knew about me on the R My Little Pony subreddit. There was this big thread called like what people like DigiBrony don't understand about Rainbow Falls, and it was like a retort to my video, but it's like very spiteful sounding retort, and it wasn't even well written. The point was completely moot, but the response to it was largely people going, "Yeah, I'm so sick of these analysis people." Like all the comments like that. There's even a certain analysis person who I don't know if I should out him by name. I think he might be friends with Pasta.
Oh, is he a mysterious kind of person?
No, not.
Damn.
No, he's a brain in a pony jar.
Oh, Cam.
Oh.
I thought you were talking about voice for a minute there. I was like, oh no, go
I'm
ahead.
not really a huge fan of Cam's, to be honest.
Yeah, Cam Goes Pony had a comment in there where he was like trying to say, oh, well, those analysis people are like that, but guys like me are we're still positive about the show. And I was just like, really, man? And that was where I sort of was like, now it's getting to a point where there's like factions and drama, and like I just want to analyze a fucking show. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here to have fun, to make these videos because they're fun for me. Like, I don't make my videos for other people. I make them for me, So when it got to a point where the sort of drama and the people who are talking about how they feel about analysts and stuff like that, when that gets louder than people who are just talking about the show, that's where it becomes a problem. So that's why I did the S4 Diaries thing, where the point was, I'm not going to tell you if I like the episode or not. And it was funny because people have this impression that I got down on season 4, when really almost every episode that I did an S4 Diary video on, I loved that episode. Like, it was the best stretch of the season. I actually think season 4 is possibly the best season of the show. And I was like really in love with all these episodes and writing these like great posts about them. And I think my fans who really appreciated those, because I did have a lot, my Patreon actually skyrocketed when I started doing S4 Diaries. Like, fewer people were watching the videos, but the ones who were appreciating it more. And I think those are the people who stayed with my channel when I stopped doing Pony. Because, I mean, it seemed natural to stop doing Pony. The fucking show was over for like a year. I didn't understand why anyone was still talking about it.
Well, there was I was going to ask about that since you just brought it up. Your Patreon took like a somewhat of a sizable dip. Have you felt the temptation to go back for the
I have not. And I'll say this, I understand where that temptation comes from, because all of my buddies, my the Horseshoe crew.
Oh, I've noticed.
Are constantly going back and forth between whether they're going to do it for the money, which you'll see Two Best Brothers Bitch About Ponies already has a new video out. It's a podcast, and they did it just for the money, because they were like,
I was actually talking to Keg afterwards, and he's like, yeah, gotta get in on this Patreon thing, the monies.
Yeah, you were bringing in 500 easy, and I was like, oh, now that it's down so low, he'll probably come back. Oh no, okay.
Well, okay. The thing is, it's 500, but people don't understand the way Patreon works. Is that every time you make a video throughout the month, you make significantly less. So like the first video, I'd make like 500, but then the next one's like 450, and the next one after that's like 350, because most people set a limit on how much they're willing to pay per month. So like they say, oh, I'll pay for one
I'm one
video
of those
a month
assholes. Sorry, did
for $20, right? So every time you make a video, you expect a significant dip. But actually, interestingly enough, my dip is less significant now. So like I make closer to like it starts at like 300 now, and it gets to like 200 by the end. It's not as much of a significant drop off, because there's fewer people who are like, I'm gonna pledge $20, but only for one video a month. And so,
ouch! I'm sorry.
So it looks like I make way more than I actually do. It just inflates it. And then there's also people who get denied, like their credit cards get denied all the time. Which part of the reason that my Patreon went down so much is because I deleted those people. Because there's some people who would get their card denied every single month, and it inflates the amount that it says you make. So it says I'm making $350, and then I've got someone who says that they were paying $15, and they never actually pay it because their credit card gets denied.
One of the things I'd heard, and I'm not going to name drop the guy even though we're having an argument right now, he goes through and sees, okay, this video's pledged, this video's pledged. Well, I don't like this video, so I'm going to deny the claim for it.
Yeah, I've actually done that once or twice to T-Bap and Jesse Wood's videos. But like, fuck you guys, you don't need my fucking money for this bullshit.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to say it anyways. Corpulent does that to Jesse Wood on a regular basis.
I'm sure if Jesse hears that, he will fucking be pissed at it. But Yeah, which I guess I mean I understand that, you know, you don't want to pay for something you don't like,
Yeah.
but it is when people's cards just get declined month after month, and I will wait till it happens a lot. Like I've had some people who are getting declined for like a straight almost a year, and I was like, okay, all you're doing is making it look like I make more than I do, and that makes people think, oh well, he's already making this much, so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna pledge.
I've-
You know, I don't want people to get that impression.
I've had a reverse screw up on that on Patreon. You ever hear there's an animation show called Group 5 on YouTube? It's one of the people.
Never heard.
Well, anyways, I pledged 25. I was trying to be buddy. I waited to the end of the month and I canceled it. And it pays by like the update. And the guy like is screaming at me like, you already took art from me. I'm like, I waited to the end of the month. He's like, I didn't update yet. I'm like, but can I just send you the money? No, you have to stay on Patreon. I'm like, okay.
People are like, I'll just send you money. I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
I actually did that a couple times because my card was getting declined for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why, but it kept happening. So like with Your Movie Sucks, I just sent, because I was pledging him like $3 a video, and I was like, I feel really bad that I know it's not going through to you, and you're expecting like $9 at the end of the month, and you're getting nothing. So I just sent him $10.
Oh, since we were talking about money, I know that you were looking for more of a budget for your videos. Did you ever actually bother to get more cameras to try and set up like that kind of a Game Grumps-esque kind of thing you were interested in before?
Game Grumps-esque?
You were, I believe it was on one of Jesse's things where you're like, oh, I tried to set up a thing where I'd have like one camera here and two of them would be video phones, and he's like, it just never really worked.
Oh yeah, that thing. No, that was it was not based on Game Grumps. It was actually another show, sort of similar to that. This was before Game Grumps. It was a Japanese TV show where there was these two voice actors who were like famous anime voice actors, and they would sort of like play games. And it was like a full set. Like they had a set where they were in this room and they would play games on a TV. There was like cameras all over the place, you know, to film them, like a full-on reality TV show about these two guys playing games. They do all kinds of little things, like quirky things to make the games more interesting. I tried to imitate that by having cameras all over my room, but because it was like I was using all these different phone cameras and like using bookshelves and shit to hold the cameras on because I didn't have any tripods and stuff like that. So I had this crazy multi-camera setup, but trying to manage the battery life memory cards on a bunch of cameras is a huge pain in the ass because they're all running on different time. They all have different data capacities, different battery limits, and it's almost impossible to keep everything charged, you know, and ready to go. So that didn't work out. But I have more recently filmed some stuff with multi-camera setups. Actually, if anyone is one of my patrons, then they'll have seen I released this. It was something I was trying to do as an intro to a video that for a Zelda video I'm making. And for the intro, I had a 2-camera setup in front of a backdrop of all these posters, and I'm like talking into the cameras, and I kept like turning back and forth between the 2 cameras. But I didn't like the audio quality of the delivery, so after I edited it, I just released it to my patrons. I am still experimenting with it. The problems now are partly that like even having good equipment is not good enough. You really need to have amazing equipment. Like because my room is like impossible to light for one thing, right? So I've got all these like cheap lighting fixtures, but you can't really light correctly because I have to put like I have clamp lights and I'll like be putting them on TVs and shit, like trying to clamp lights everywhere in my room, clamping them to chairs, using chairs as tripods, like just all this ghetto setup that you have to do to try.
How much money have you dumped into that? Because that's something I'd wanted to let other YouTubers know.
Well, all right. I haven't dumped a lot, but also understand my brother Victor is a film major. So me and him are both interested in this kind of thing. So like when I'm talking about like we have cheap setups, because basically when it comes to setting up camera equipment, you have 2 ways you can go. Either go super, super cheap and try to be really ghetto, or go super, super expensive. Because if you try to buy stuff that's like $100, it's not worth it. Nothing you can get in that price range is going to hold up. So for instance, we have one tripod that's my mom's, because my mom's also a photographer, like a freelance photographer. So she has a nice tripod, and that's the one that's like, yeah, cool, we get to use the nice tripod. And then we have the dinky $20 one that we got that's a piece of shit and cameras fall off of it and stuff. It's almost better to use something like homemade than it is to use like a shitty, you know, $20 tripod. I think channels like, let's say Idea Channel, which has a great camera setup, right? They've got 2 big ass floodlights that are like right on the dude. Those lights probably cost like $200 each, and they're really, really nice. And then they've got like I want to say like a 5D camera. They've probably got a pretty, I've seen their setup. They've got a pretty nice camera that's probably a couple $1,000.
Oh, Jesus.
And
Damn.
he's probably got either a shotgun mic or a lapel mic. Either way, it's got to be over $100 because he gets good audio. So it's it's not that it's prohibitively expensive, but you have to have a budget to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I tried following that advice. I was like sitting there asking around, and then I found out, I was like, oh, really good DSLR is like $700, and I've dumped so much money into microphones, this, that, and the other.
And even like, because my brother we have a Canon 4i, something like that.
I've got the 5. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we've got the 4, and like it was like $600, and to us it was like, man, this camera's really nice. And if you're just a YouTuber, it's as good as you really need. You know, like if you're filming vlogs or something. But like my brother, who does real film work, he's now worked with like higher end cameras, and now he looks at his and he's like, this is fucking miserable. Like this camera may be $600, but this is nothing compared to what I'm using on film sets, you know. Or even my mom, because she's a professional photographer, like she has the 5D, and that shit's like $4,000, and it's got like the super wide angle lens. It can shoot in super low light, and it's like, when we use it, because my brother always uses it now because it takes amazing video. My mom just uses it for photographs, and she's like a freelancer, so she barely uses it anyway. And he's like, fuck that, I'm taking this everywhere with me. So yeah, that's actually one of the funny things. If again, with that Patreon video I mentioned that I only released to patrons, like we filmed it on those two cameras, my mom's camera and my brother's camera, and all the shots from my mom's camera look amazing, and the ones from my brother's camera look awful. And when I switch between the cameras, it's like, oh, why did you bother?
That sounds like a good how-to, actually, if you put it up that way.
By the way, can I ask a question?
Sure, certainly.
So Digi, are you planning on watching season 5 still? I mean, not
well, I watched
reviewing.
the premiere, and
Nice.
I thought it was okay. I didn't feel very strongly about it at all, but I did. It was. Let me tell you about this really surreal experience I had watching this premiere, right? Because in the time after season 4 ended, I quit doing My Little Pony analysis, and then gradually I just didn't really want to see pony stuff anymore, right? Like, because I wasn't really excited about it, so I stopped following any pony websites or pony people, really. Like, I follow some people on Twitter who I was friends with anyways, like someone like Jaxblade, not really a pony guy that much anyways. So I follow some people like that, and I don't see a lot of pony. Like, the most pony I see is when Neil X does an Elements of Brony video and sends it to me, and I like watch them like 5 fucking times, you know, to get them prepared. And yeah, people complain about those things being long. I watch them like 5 times a piece.
Oh, Jesus.
And take notes and shit like that. But anyways, shit, what was I saying? Right. So I'm like so distant from Pony that I start watching the season 5 premiere. And mind you, I'm thinking back to season 4 when I watched episodes of season 4, I would get on my couch, watch it while it was airing, and I'd be on Twitter, and I was following like all the creators of the show, so they'd all be tweeting about it. I'd be like tweeting my thoughts about stuff, and everyone would be replying. You know, it was like this big, extravagant, everyone's talking about it. And then I'd get on Skype after the episode was over, and I'd have 50 people asking me what I thought, and I'd be like, guys, stop asking me, I'm working on my review, stop asking. And I'd go everywhere, and everyone would be talking about it, right? So this time, it just so happens I was awake and ready when the season 5 premiere started. I was like, all right, I'll watch it on TV. I've got nothing else to do today. And I was sitting there, and I'm like tweeting about it during the show. No one's really responding. There's no tweets on my wall about it. No one. No one that I follow is talking about the premiere at all, because I don't follow the show staff. None of my friends care anymore. So I watch the episode, and then I get up, I go upstairs. No one's contacted me about it on Skype. I write out a little thing about it on Reddit. Like, I wrote a little mini review, and I posted it on Twitter, and I was like, here's my thoughts on the season 5 premiere, since you're all going to ask anyways. And no one responded to it for like a while. So I was just, man, no one gives a fuck whether or not I watch this anymore. Like, I really felt like the demand was gone. Whereas for a long time, people have been like, hey, are you going to review season 5? And I'd always said no, but like people kept asking, and I was like, I'm not going to do it. So, you know, don't hang around if that's what you're expecting. And then it finally reached a point where no one thinks I'm doing it anymore. So no one asked. And it was like half the day before anyone else watched the episode, because I guess most people don't watch it live, but like, because I get the hub and not the hub, excuse me, Discovery Family. I didn't know about that until I was watching the show. So yeah, that was very surreal. It was weird to watch an episode of My Little Pony and have no one care about my opinion until like at least a day later when people did start asking about
Are
it.
you happier about it that way?
I'm happy that if I miss an episode, I don't have to have everyone telling me, like asking me about it, because I don't plan to watch it every week as it airs because I just don't do that with any shows. Like it's not normal for me. So like I only did it with My Little Pony because I was analyzing it, so I had to keep up with it.
So probably
Yeah.
somewhere after it's done and with its seasons thing, you might just go back and marathon.
Right. Or if I hear about some episodes like super interesting, like maybe I'll watch the Background Ponies episode because that sounds, interesting.
There's a background.
So,
ponies episode?
and you said that you posted
Yes.
your thoughts on
I have
Tumblr?
not been paying attention.
Yes, Cloud. They're gonna make a whole episode of just the Background Ponies with like Octavia as the main character, and it's
Oh.
totally real.
So many of my peers were like, "Oh, it's going to be about
Are you sure
Applejack."
that wasn't an April Fool's joke that went
No, it's
awry?
completely real.
Yeah.
They've shown clips from like in commercials that I think are from that episode. So I'm pretty sure
I saw
it's
that
real.
clip. Because
People hate
kept
when I talk about
people
that,
sent me
'cause-
just- yeah.
I'm like pessimistic as fuck about it. I'm like,
I had
it's
never
gonna
noticed.
be another shit episode like
Oh.
Three's a Crowd.
Oh,
Fuck this.
no, Pasta, you're so optimistic. I don't believe that at all.
Is anyone optimistic anymore in this fandom aside the artists?
I thought it was me,
Sorry.
maybe, but whatever.
Well, there's a forced optimism in the analysis
Neil.
community.
Oh,
Jesse Wood and Neil X. Those two guys.
Thank
are
you.
Jesse
super
Wood is
optimistic.
optimistic?
I keep telling people this, and they keep looking at me like I'm trolling.
Yeah, no, Jesse loves My Little Pony Friendship is Magic more than anyone I know ever. And that's the funniest thing about like people think that he has this persona of being like this guy who's mad at stuff, but he only hates the fans. He loves the show.
That's
And he's-
basically where I'm at right now.
He's been
Oh.
talking about forever how his number one dream is that everyone will hate My Little Pony except for him, and he'll be the only one still watching it. Like long into the future, he was like, I might do videos about it forever, and just I don't want anyone to watch them. I just want to do them. I want to be the only fan. Because he found out about My Little Pony organically. He didn't even hear about it online. He just saw it on TV and loved it. Like, so he's always loved it from the moment he laid eyes on it, and like he just kind of found out there was a fandom and was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And then eventually, oh god, I hate them so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to Jesse at all, but what I envision him is like whenever, like I know he likes the show because he said if he didn't like it, he wouldn't be making videos for it. But, I just envision like him watching a new episode, going, "Oh, how are those autistic bronies going to react to this? They're going to do something stupid."
No, Jesse is very much the type of person who, when he watches something, he's in his own world. Like he's alone with his thoughts and his imagination, and it's the best thing ever. And then it's only after it's over that he has to realize that bronies are gonna watch it now and ruin it for him.
I don't get that at all though. But like he grew up on pro wrestling, he should be ready for bronies. It should be the easiest.
He hates pro wrestlers or pro wrestling fans too.
Yes.
So
Oh,
he
it's
spends as much time complaining about wrestling fans as he does about bronies.
yeah.
So wait, did you? So you said you posted your thoughts on Tumblr?
He did.
On
Reddit.
Did I say
Reddit.
Tumblr?
No, you
I
said
meant-
Reddit.
Okay,
He said Reddit.
I'm an idiot.
No, you're fine.
Where on Reddit? Just like
On my here, I'll send it to you. It's
Yeah.
on my personal Reddit.
Well, we could always include it in
Issues
the
wrote Reddit.
discussion or the whatever it is.
Oh yeah, well it's very brief. I just kind of was like, it seems okay. Like I like the concept that the season is gonna be like not focusing on the main six. Like
Mhm.
I get the impression the whole point of it is gonna be they're gonna go to other places, meet new people, and like it's gonna be about them. And you have the whole like they get rescued by the other ponies, and I see it as sort of like building a friendship army. Like they're going around like recruiting everyone to the side of the Princess of Friendship, and they'll have like a united front of friendship
Yeah.
across all of Equestria. That aspect of it is cool. I worry about all 6 of them going on every adventure
Yeah.
because then we've got 6. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I'm sure
but
they'll split them up.
I hope they
Yeah.
don't do it because I felt like when you do that, then some of the characters like they lose a lot of their interestingness. Like Rarity in particular, I thought she was really weak in the opener, just because all she does is comments on fashion.
I mean,
That's
it's
it.
always been a problem when you get all
Yeah.
6 of them in an episode together. Then you're you know, unless it's something that uniquely involves all six, then it's always going to be like someone has to be boiled down to just their basic characteristics. You know,
Yes.
like they're not all going to get great lines. Fluttershy was great in the
Usually,
opening
thank you.
episode. Twilight was there, and Rarity was there, and Applejack was there.
I thought
Rainbow
Rainbow
was
Dash
pretty
was
good.
great, actually, considering her personality would be the one that would jar with what the hell was going on the most.
I think like you probably could have done the same episode without Rarity, Applejack, and I feel Pinkie Pie. You could have done the episode without the three of them, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that they had to be cut, but
No.
Yeah.
Well,
like-
it's a premiere.
but
Oh.
it's really hard to have a situation that really makes all six ponies react to it in a meaningful way.
Hmm.
So who knows how they're gonna do that? But
Yeah.
you know, that's what time is there for, to wait and see. I just I don't think it was a bad episode by any means. I just thought it was not an interesting presentation to me, where it's like
Mhm.
it necessarily, by way of what the story was, it took place in a boring ass town with a bunch of boring ass characters, and they had to like really explain like what this dystopian society is. And for me, having seen like a million stories like this, you know, I was like, within 10 seconds, it's The Giver with ponies. And then like the whole episode is like really drilling it into my head, like, oh, this is a society that's like this. This is how people act here. And I'm like, I get it. So, I mean, it's necessary. It's a kids show. It has to be like that. But it was
Yeah.
one of the few times watching My Little Pony where I was like really bothered by how much exposition there was that I didn't need. Where I got it. I got the point. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a question I had sent you earlier about your Wind Waker video here. Let's see.
Yeah.
You I really enjoyed that, as well as your Nier review. You expressed an interest in doing Mass Effect. Do you have any other plans like that for the future? More to focus. I know you did
specifically a Mass Effect video.
Well, I mean, I know you did a gaming thing with your brother. I didn't know how passionate you were about it. I was just wondering, were you going to do more in-depth videos like Wind Waker and Nier?
On video games, just in particular.
Yes,
you
in
mean?
particular.
Yeah, actually, because last month I got really into video games again, mostly with my show with Victor, but I started up those cool girl game videos, which aren't super deep, but mostly because I've been playing games that aren't super deep. And it's funny, I actually was going to do a video on Mass Effect 2 because I was sitting there thinking about how most of my favorite videos I've done have been on things that I think are the best ever, right? Like shows that I would consider 10 out of 10. When I talk about those and I write those big 2-hour videos and stuff like that, that's the stuff I really appreciate from myself. That's the stuff I go back and rewatch and still feel good about. So I was thinking, what's my favorite video game? And I had made a list just recently of my top favorite games. And my number one at the time, I put Mass Effect 2. So I was like, all right, let's replay Mass Effect 2, figure out what makes that game in particular so good, and then talk about it. And so I started playing it. I got a couple hours in, and I realized that I hate the movement in that game. Like, just the way you move. You kind of get stuck on stuff a lot, and it's really like there's like a lot of build up and let's say you start moving your character, right? And they start moving slow, and then they start picking up speed, and they do that a lot, and that bothers me. And I realized it's because I first played Mass Effect back in 2012 at the end of the year. And since then, I've been playing like tons of Zelda, and I love the movement in Zelda. It's like why I love Zelda is because it feels really good to move. So I got so fed up with the movement in Mass Effect 2 that I decided I was going to make a video about Zelda and just talk about the movement. This is what I mentioned earlier with the that patron video. That was me doing the intro to this this Zelda video. But I've written like part 1 of 4 or 5 of like these giant 30-minute videos on analyzing the movement mechanics of every Zelda game. So look forward to that, assuming I ever finish it. But as for Mass Effect, there's a guy named Noah Caldwell Gervais who started doing video game analysis videos. Or not so much analysis as they are just like breakdowns of what the game is, sort of. And he goes through, each of his videos goes through an entire fucking franchise from beginning to end and talks about every game. So all his videos are between 45 minutes and 2.5 hours long. They're all fucking long. And they're not well produced. They kind of look and sound like shit. But he did a video that was 2.5 hours long on the Mass Effect trilogy. And when I first started making videos, my original plan was I was going to make a 3-hour video on Mass Effect, and that was going to be my big debut video, and then that was how I was going to get attention. And this guy, his 2.5 hour Mass Effect video is like exactly what mine would have been. Now, that's not me saying that it's as good as one of my current videos, because I think he's about as good as I was at that time, and I think I'm much better now, but that's what my video would have been. So go watch Noah Caldwell Gervais' Mass Effect trilogy video, and you'll get the experience you would have had. And it worked exactly for him how I wanted it to work for me. He got big off of that, or not like super big, but like he got attention from that video. People shared it around, and
It reminds me of
now
my
he has a
Magical
following.
Mystery Cure video. Terrible quality, but it's sort of the video that you said got the thoughts out for him.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
for what was it? Noel. Just wanted to make sure you'd be able to provide.
Noah Caldwell Gervais.
Would you be able to provide a link
I'll-
for that later? I want to make sure I put that in the description.
Righty.
Alright.
Just on the topic of Mass Effect, because I had a rather, I don't know, unique personal reaction to Mass Effect. Have you ever had anything ruined for you by hype? Have you set your expectations too high based on what people have told you?
Maybe in the past, but there came a time when I realized that no one ever feels the same way about something that I do. So when people hype shit, I assume it's fucking terrible until I see it for myself.
That's a good philosophy.
Dude, it took so much of people hyping Steven Universe for me to even give it a try. Like last week or so, when Steven Universe had this big thing, everyone started talking about it. Tommy Oliver watched it and he thought it was fucking amazing. Then Jesse Wood watched it and thought it was fucking amazing. The Give and Take watched it and thought it was amazing. And I was like, you're all full of shit. but I'm gonna give it a chance since you all like it so much. And then I watched it within like 3 episodes. I was like, yeah, this is really fucking good. Like, I'm down. I'll watch it. And then I watched the whole thing, and it was great. But I don't let hype get to me. But you can continue your story anyways.
I wasn't continuing the story.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just a lead into a question. I just sort of like, because when Mass Effect 2 came out, I had a lot of people telling me to get it. And when I went on the internet, I came across phrases like the story of a generation and this generation's Star Wars. And then I played it and I was like, this is shit.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel, because when I went back to play Mass Effect 2, I quickly realized that I wasn't in the mindset for it. Because when I played it the first time, I did all 3 games in a row, and like the first game has a lot more of like an easing in period of like making you feel this big sci-fi universe and making you like, yeah, I'm really into like the whole. It starts off with mostly world building, like. After you play the starting mission, you go to the Citadel, and the Citadel is like this huge hub world that's just people fucking telling you about the universe, like in extreme detail. And I spent like 8 hours there when I first started the game, just talking to people in the Citadel and doing all the quests there. And so by the time I even left to start the story missions, I was like deeply engrossed in the universe of Mass Effect. And then the second game introduces some of the more interesting characters and some of the more interesting like broad concept themes and shit like that. It has a better battle system. So I liked Mass Effect 2 more than 1, and then 3 is a fucking catastrophe. But like going back to play Mass Effect 2 and not being in that mindset of like, oh man, I'm so into the Mass Effect universe. I'm just like, why is the animation so bad on everything? Why do their mouths move like that? Why is Miranda's tits so ridiculous? Like, that's all I saw was like all the bad things that I would have looked past the first time.
Yeah. Being someone who was overly disappointed with Mass Effect, when I watched Angry Joe's video on the ending, it's like top 10 things wrong with it, I was just laughing my fucking ass off. Like everyone else was talking about it being his best, most well-known video that launched his channel. I thought it was ridiculous. I still like the guy, but I don't know.
I've not watched his videos. I've seen other Mr. B-Tongues actually launched his channel with a 45-minute video complaining about the ending of Mass Effect 3. And Mr. B-Tongue is my favorite YouTuber. If anyone doesn't know him.
Oh, that takes out one of my questions.
Oh, are you gonna ask who's my favorite?
Yeah, I was going to see what's your favorite.
I could give you like more of a top 5 if you want. Like.
I could ask something else. What's your favorite waste of time on YouTube then, if you?
Oh, Game Grumps.
Oh, nice.
Are you fucking kidding me? Waste all my fucking time. Well, Game Grumps, I got back into them. I used to be a big fan back when it was John and Aaron, and they had 2 videos a day, and it was like somewhat manageable. But I fell behind once I started running my channel because I was putting it, I was worried about my own videos, and they're fucking constantly putting out videos. I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. They release too frequently, and I stopped watching like right before John left, and so I'd like barely watched any of the Aaron and Danny era, and then when my channel got taken down this year, back in February, and I was like super fucking distraught about it. What I tend to do, if I don't want to get emotional, I listen to podcasts and other people talking, right? Like anything that's other people talking, and I get to like vicariously pretend I'm around friends and people who are having interesting conversations. So for about 2.5 weeks, all I did was watch Game Grumps nonstop, and I actually watched. This not just in this 2.5 weeks. I kept watching it after that, after my channel came back. But I have managed to watch the entire Aaron and Danny era of Game Grumps in the span of the last 2 months. I've seen fucking all of it. I just marathon, and I would play like one of the longer video series, and I'd pass out in the middle of it and just leave it running all day. And yeah, I caught up on all of it. That's like probably a few thousand hours of video.
You've notably had some really big hiccups, I think, in your YouTube. I remember you had a bit of a huge bump when you got annoyed when I think it was Hasbro started taking a Google AdSense, various copyright strikes. Like at that time.
Did you know that just the other day one of my old alt accounts got hacked?
Which one?
Oh,
And
really?
Digibrony YT got hacked and started spamming gore and porn.
That's what that was.
YT.
Like that happened on the night of the new the season 5 opener. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, was that the same night?
Yeah. It was the same night.
I only knew about like 3 or 4. The base channel, the anime channel, Digi After Dark, and Model H Soul.
Digibrony YT existed because in 2013, when my channel was first started to get big, like I left my job in like February or January of 2013, right? I was working at Target. I left my job once I started making money off of AdSense because I was making quite a bit. For the first 2 months, I made $600 a month, which to me was like a lot, for YouTube money. And is still, I don't make nearly that off of AdSense anymore. But I was making $600 a month for 2 months, and I was like, really like, yeah, this is working. I'm becoming a YouTuber. And then bam, I get all these fucking copyright strikes all at once when Hasbro started taking shit down, and they disabled monetization on my videos. So I was like immediately fucked because Patreon was just about to become a thing. I didn't know about it yet if it was out, but like there was no payment method like that was easy to use. And me and Tommy Oliver spent like a long time trying to figure out how we were going to find a way around it. We were like discussing making a website and having like a subscription based content, and or doing a Kickstarter for our videos where if we made a certain amount of money, we were the highest like stretch goal was if we make $45,000, we'll move in together and do a vlog every day. So
is that 45,000 a year or a month? What?
No, just on the Kickstarter. Like
okay.
If we made that much all at once, because that would be like enough to pay for us for like a whole year to do whatever we want, basically. Like it would be like getting a year's worth of salary in one lump sum. So we were like, if we make this much, we'll have the money to get like an apartment together, and we'll make vlogs every single day, on top of our normal content. But we never ended up doing any of that. And then when the monetization went away at first, I created an account called Digibrony YT.
Yep.
Because then I could monetize that channel. So
but
I
no
only
one
ever
really came to that channel though, right?
Actually, a lot of people. It had like 18,000 subscribers, which was, I think my main channel had probably close to 45,000 at the time. So, like a decent chunk of people went over there, and I did a Call of the Cutie video, a couple of vlogs, and the Return of Harmony video, which later was posted on the main. The only video that was only on that channel was the Call of the Cutie video. But when the channel, basically it wasn't getting enough attention, I wasn't making enough ad revenue off of it, so I was like, well, what about Blip? Because then people brought that up. So then I posted a couple of videos on Blip. That didn't really work out. And then I found out about Patreon. So by that point, I completely abandoned Digibrony YT, and it just sat there for the last 2 years. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden, this week, it gets hacked and just starts spamming porn and gore. And I was asleep when it happened. So like my brother comes running in at like 8 in the morning, like, dude, your account's been hacked. And I go in and I didn't even look at any of the videos. I went right into the account. Thank God the hacker didn't change the password. And I just went right in, deleted the whole fucking channel immediately. And then I looked at Twitter and realized like 800 people had messaged me, dude, your account's been hacked. I go to every social media site and someone's told me, and I'm like, I'm glad at least that if anything goes wrong with one of my channels, then like I will know because everyone will tell me. But I already knew, guys, before I read any of your. But thanks anyways for the concern.
Have you ever considered maybe switching over to review movies or anything like that?
The problem with that is that I don't like enough of them, or
Yeah.
I don't get like super into them. I mean, I'm just a big cartoon guy. I like cartoons as a medium the most, and I've done some film reviews. I did an analysis of Speed Racer, which is like my favorite movie.
Yeah.
So
I was going to suggest, I was like, I know you're aware of The Escapist, and they lost two of their biggest draws. I was like, well, you're talented enough to replace Movie Bob
believe
easily.
me, I've thought about trying to get a job at The Escapist, but
Your sub
really-
count's higher than Bob's.
yeah, poor movie Bob.
He's
I did
doing
watch-
okay.
oh.
Poor Movie Bob. He's making $3K a month on Patreon.
Fuck movie Bob.
Jim Sterling's
Jim
making
Position.
10K.
Yeah, Jim's making crazy fucking money.
I was like, I should throw him $1. Like 2 weeks later, he's making 10K. You don't need my buck. Fuck off.
No, not at all. Nothing is more harmful to any YouTubers, and I'm sure a lot of people can say this about me because I make like 300 a video, and for a lot of people that's a lot. But when I look at people making anywhere like 10 times what I make, I'm always super jealous. Fucking Tony Zoe of Every Frame a Painting makes over 3,000. Your Movie Sucks is close to 3,000 a video, which both of those guys, it's like once a month release, so
Yeah.
like it's a little more okay. Well, they clearly put a shit ton of effort into the video, and I don't put nearly that much effort into mine. So like I'm not saying I deserve $3,000 a video, but fucking Jimquisition, I feel like I could churn out his videos myself at the same rate and be better. Not to say anything bad about Jimquisition, but the way he writes is so roundabout, it drives me insane. Like it feels like he doesn't edit his writing. He says the same thing over and over and
Funny,
over.
but
Oh,
one of
yeah,
the
like
recent
J-
videos is
Jim-
about how he edits his writing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Jim does go to
Yeah.
like the simplest things possible, but sometimes it's just cathartic. Oh, I'm in a bad mood. Oh, someone's gonna bitch about EA. Okay, I'm suddenly a little bit better.
I've seen a lot of his videos where it's like 8 minutes of him repeating his point again. Like recently he did that one on DMC. Like it's time for us to acknowledge DMC as a good game, and he says like that exact sentence like over and over again. I don't understand why everyone doesn't like this. I'm doing it terrible. That's the worst Jimquisition accent I could do. Trying to think how he sounds. It drove me nuts, and
should-
that happens a lot.
you should have
there was
done
a time where I marathoned like all of his videos, and I think some of his points are great. I just don't like his writing style.
You should have considered doing that for an April Fool's.
Yeah.
Digiquisition.
whereas
Yes.
I'd rather do Yahtzee because I'm a long time Yahtzee fan, and see that's like the opposite writing style where he crams a lot into every sentence and talks super fucking fast, you know.
I'd be down to watch that.
And the funny thing is,
Same.
I can easily talk as fast as Yahtzee. I deliberately don't because it's harder to process. Because his videos are more funny and like the snappiness of them makes it, you know, works with his humor. But like my sentences are so fucking densely packed that like if I read them off that fast, you'd just be like, what the fuck are you saying? You know.
I'm just imagine that'd be the best way
That's
for
how
you to
people react to my
for
videos.
for you to get through. What's that series you really have a hate boner for?
Sword Art.
Sword Art Online. You're like, well, I normally take my time with it, but let's try and go through this in 5 minutes.
I did talk pretty fast through parts of that,
Yeah.
but not quite zero punctuation level, but I
Mm.
could. And yeah, Cloud, your videos can be kind of like what every once in a while where
Yeah,
you start
I know.
talking fast and you say a lot of big things. I definitely try to match
I-
the speed of
I
my
do that
speaking with
deliberately, though. I do that deliberately because some people tell me that it gives them a lot of rewatch value, I guess. But
yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, there are
Um,
other people who are like, I just don't understand a fucking word you're saying.
Right. Like that Tale of Memories video I just posted, like I made a point to talk really slow because every sentence of that is like hard to parse. It's not the kind of video that you could I felt like when I read it back to myself, I had to like think about every sentence of it to like really get what I was saying. So I tried to talk really slow, and there's lots of breaks in the video where like I finish talking about one thing and then there's like a little musical chime and then I talk about the next thing so that it all like gives you time to process what I'm saying as opposed to just ramming through it like the Psychopaths versus Psychopaths 2 What Happened Part 4 which just came out where there's like a long stretch where I'm talking really fast and just rattling off points about it. So yeah.
See, not to be nosy, but as a YouTube content creator with the revenue you bring in, do you like make enough to have like a rainy day fund, or is it literally like month to month, paycheck to paycheck, essentially?
Well, I live at home with my parents,
Mhm.
so there's no reason it would be month to month, paycheck to paycheck. I'm not paying for my own house or car or
Well, you
I
have
pay-
you have certain lifestyle extravagancies that you
Right.
like. I need to buy this every month, but you don't need to.
I can just break down what I spend all my money on if you want. Like
Oh, am I allowed to be that nosy?
so
Can you make a
Yeah.
video on that? Did you
Yes,
analyze
this is what
I've
you're
thought
paying
about it.
for. Yeah, this is what you're paying for by
yeah,
month.
so I make about $1,000 a month. Like I try my best every month to make sure I make that much. Like basically the reason that I always get out at least 5 videos in a month is because I want to make at least $1,000 every month to feel secure. So that's why I push myself to have 5 videos a month. And that's why sometimes at the end of the month suddenly 3 videos come out because I'm like, "Oh shit, I haven't made enough videos." Which unlike some of my friends, I actually make sure they're all full videos and not blogs about jacking off on camera. But no offense to my friends who make more money than I do on Patreon for their blogs about jacking off on camera. Anyways, point being, I make about $1,000 a month. So up until now, my dad, ever since I started making money off of YouTube, my dad started charging me $300 a month for rent, right? Which is very fair. Because obviously I probably cost him more than $300 a month to live here. But as of this year, I raised it up to 500, or rather, me and him sort of came to an agreement on that. Partly because I expect this year to make a lot more money than I did the previous years. I set a goal for myself at the start of the year that I was going to make $30,000 at least this year doing what I do. Unfortunately, then my channel got deleted and I made nothing for 2 weeks, and then I sat around watching Game Grumps for a month. So it hasn't been going that great. It hasn't been lifting up the way I wanted it to. But nonetheless, so I give my dad now $500 a month for rent money, right? So it leaves me with another 500. I spend a lot of money on food because I love food. So almost every day I go out and buy either fast food or go to a restaurant or something. At least once a day, I go out and get some kind of food and
The
tea.
midnight Wawa drive.
Yes, lots of Wawa. People should know about my Wawa by now because I talk about it a lot, I think. Oh, Jesus. But anyways, so I head out and get food, so that's where a good chunk of the money goes. And then I pretty much don't buy much else. Like, if a game comes out that I really want, I might buy that or something. But most of what I spend money on is quality of life purchases, like new equipment, new things that will make everything better. So, for instance, a couple weeks ago, I dropped $500 on a chair, which I'm currently sitting in. I got like the nicest imaginable desk chair because all I do is sit in a chair all day, and I was starting to have like back issues. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna drop as much money as I can to get the nicest chair possible and never have to worry about it again. So that's what I did.
There's a recommendation for that. You could invest in a Tempur-Pedic bed.
Yeah, I've thought about that too.
They're worth
or
it.
any of those
Oh,
nice
they're totally
beds.
worth it. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
you spend a third of your life sleeping,
I mean,
right?
my bed's not awful. It's not bad enough that I think it's like a super big issue. But I definitely, if I started making like more, because beds are fucking expensive.
Oh, it's $1,000. I could tell you up front.
Oh, well, yeah. I'd probably want to be. I can't drop $1,000 on something, especially because I'm about to within the next few days pay my taxes. By the way, big warning to anyone who makes money on the internet: you have to pay your own taxes. No one's paying it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're making money on Patreon, they are not paying your taxes for you every paycheck. So before deductions, before me and my dad went through and found everything I could possibly deduct, which thankfully was quite a bit because I bought so much equipment, my taxes would have been $4,500. That would be more money than I have ever had at one time.
Ouch.
So that would have killed me, and that was what I was freaking out about at the mind you, I found out about my taxes right before my channel went down. So like all at once I was like, I'm fucked. I'm totally fucked. I don't have the money to pay my taxes. My channel's down, so I'm not going to make any more money. I was like really freaking out for the early part of the month, which is why I spent all that time watching Game Grumps. But after all the deductions, because again, I spent I built a $900 computer, I got a $300 microphone, stuff like that. Like all these things I could write off on my taxes. So I got it down to $1,500. That's what I have to pay. After I pay that, I'm not going to have a lot of money in the bank. I'm not going to be like running around buying $500 chairs. But I typically try to make sure I have enough of a cushion amount. And now that I know about taxes and how much I have to pay for them, I'm going to set aside a lot of money for taxes from now on and spend less on myself. So that's the gist of what I spend. I don't think I make enough money that I could live on my own without being on a pure ramen diet. Like if I had to pay for an apartment, and especially because Virginia Beach, where I live, has pretty high cost of living. So, like finding some place that's like $500 a month, I'd be in the cheapest, shittiest place in the ghetto here, like for $500 a month. So, so it's not easy to have enough cash to pay for a place and then pay for my car, which luckily my car stuff is always taken care of because my dad runs a dealership, so I always have access to cars. But so I'm extremely lucky and privileged is what I'm getting at. I would not be able to live off of the amount of money I make if not for my home situation, if not for the fact that my dad has money and I'm well taken care of. If I tried to move out tomorrow, then I would be fucked, which is why I haven't moved out yet. I'm hoping my Patreon and everything will get to a point where I could do that. You know, if I was making $3,000 a month, I'd probably move out on my own. Or at least move in with someone else. I'd love to move in with some of the other Horseshoe crew members. You know, we've talked about this a lot, how like we'd love to get a place together because they're all in either living with their parents or in not as great home situations, you know. Mm-hmm. So it'd be cool if we could all move in together, but I'd have to be making a lot more money to do that.
What's the most expensive thing you've ever lost?
Ever lost?
Yes.
Jeez. Well, does lost include broken?
Oh, absolutely.
I've managed to break 2 laptops in the past year. And let me tell you how each of them broke. I had a MacBook that was my dad's old laptop, and I was using that for a long time. And I was trying to record. The screen was kind of fucked up. It was really old. It was starting to get shitty. But I was trying to record something in my closet because of this was when my computer had died. This is last year. My main computer had died. And so the computer I'm using now, I had to order all the parts for it, and I was waiting for them to come in. So in the meantime, I'm using my laptop, and I recorded like 7 My Little Pony analyses all at once at this time. Like if you go back through my channel, there's a period in February of last year where I released 10 videos in a month. Mm-hmm. And that was when like my girlfriend had just broke up with me, my computer died, and then I just decided I was going to spend all my time making pony videos. So I'm trying to record in my closet to avoid like noise because someone was like mowing the lawn somewhere, and I sit down and I move these shirts out of the way that were like around my headspace, and a crowbar just comes falling down from above, from nowhere. A crowbar falls on my laptop and shatters it. I still don't understand this. Like, I've been thinking about it for a year, like it's been haunting me, and I don't get it. A crowbar fell from above after I moved some shirts. I guess it was in the shirts, and it fell and shattered my laptop. So I bought a new one, a $300 Asus that was okay, and I was using that one for a while, and I guess at some point I stepped on it because the screen on that one broke too. So then I bought a new laptop again. So now I've got an Asus T100, which is a tablet laptop where you can like detach the keyboard from the screen. It's fucking awesome. I love it. It's got an amazing keyboard, great for writing. I've written a lot of my videos on it since getting it, so highly recommended.
Oh, how much did that run you?
That's $300 again.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't think it could do much other than be a writing and reading laptop, but it's not like a powerhouse, but it's really cool, and it converts into a tablet. And I specifically got it because I was reading a lot of manga, and I was like, it'd be cool to have a tablet to read manga on, but I want to have a keyboard to write on, and it was the best of both worlds.
Nice. What's something you'd teach the anime analysis community?
Oh man, stop following the guys who are the biggest channels, because the anime analysis and review community is very follow the leader for the big guys in it, right? Which I guess every channel is. I mean, or every community is. Obviously, everyone followed my style when I was doing pony analysis to a point that it got really annoying because everyone was doing the OC on screen thing. But the guys who are the biggest are this dude called Glass Reflections and a guy called Giga, and they're both really popular YouTube channels, and they just write really generic, boring reviews, right? It's just the bog standard stuff, especially Glass Reflections. He's very like nostalgia critic-esque, or that guy with the glasses-esque, I guess.
So it's like Dr. Wolf.
I just assumed it was Demo, actually. I was like, oh, damn, he's got a shit ton of subs.
No, I love Demo, but he's not as influential, really. Because he has, for one, Demo has not been around very long. He's only been around for about 2 years, and he hasn't made a whole ton of super big videos. He has a ton of subs, and he deserves them because his videos are fantastic, but not as influential to the general anime community. Whereas like Glass Reflections been around for like 4 or 5 years, Giga's been around for 4 or 5 years. These guys have had more time to be influential, and I think Glass Reflections is the biggest like anime review channel, like has the most subs out of any of those. So but it's very that guy with the glasses-esque. Past, I wouldn't compare him to Dr. Wolf. I'd compare him more to Silverquill. Just sort of very like somewhat entertainment based. Like they try to be really well edited, really well presented, but the things he's saying are like anyone could have said that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not very deep or analytical or anything like that.
Would you say though that it's better than Dr. Wolf because it provides that entertainment value to some degree?
Yeah. Dr. Wolf just doesn't put a lot of effort into his editing and stuff. Like, he cranks out videos like they're fucking candy, you know?
Mhm.
Glass Reflections definitely puts... It's like more of a once-a-month type video deal where he, like, clearly puts some effort into it. It's just that his writing style is really boring. I compared it to, at one point, I said, if you just had a robot AI that scanned the opinions of every forum on the internet and then generated a review, it would be a Glass Reflections review. Like, just scan every forum for all the opinions, and that's what you'll get, you know? It's very, like... basically what I was parodying with my Attack on Titan video, if you guys saw that, where I just, like, kind of go, oh, the characters are kind of interesting, but sometimes they're out of character, you know? Just, like, it's kind of, like, broad general statements that don't mean anything. Like, that's the kind of style that he
This
has.
is surprising. This was meaningful.
Right.
I wanted to take some of your lines from your April Fool's thing, and I was like, I bet if I put enough editing into this, I could sit there and say, Digi's now doing MLP again. The Browns are really brown. And just watch the rage. Do I have your permission to do that?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
That was sort of the Browns are really Browns when I got like off the rails. Or at first I was like really doing it like just to sound like bad and obnoxious, and then I started having fun with it at that point. But yeah, like so that's more Glass Reflection style. And the problem is, which again I would compare it to that guy with the glasses. I don't like anyone on that guy with the glasses. Not a fan of any of those people. Nostalgia Critic and everyone who's based on him. Because I think they're really ego-driven reviewers. Like, everything's about them being the arbiter of, like, taste kind of thing. Like, I thought this was bad for these reasons that everyone should be able to identify and agree with, and that's just the kind of impression I get from that anyways. But, that's who's the biggest anime review channel, and most of the anime review channels I see obviously borrow from them. I should say also Holden Reviews is another big one. He's all about editing, all about presentation. And editing and presentation don't impress me. I don't give a fuck. Anyone can do editing and presentation. It's the writing that's interesting. Like, tell me something I couldn't figure out about this show by myself, you know, or that I might not have, or how do I put this? If you write a review that I feel like I know that someone could feel that way, like, let's say I wrote a review, I said, the character in this episode was kind of unlikable, and it's like, anyone could tell you that.
Yeah.
That's not interesting. Don't tell me that. I don't care that you thought the character was kind of unlikable for an episode. Explain why they were unlikable. Make me feel what you feel. Don't tell me how you feel. Make me feel how you feel.
And
You know?
but another thing I also rag against is just people who make like the most old, outdated points. I mean, there was a video that Dr. Wolf did like within the last month, and it was basically looking at like Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera like comparisons in MLP. He used like the Looney Tunes reference and putting your hoof down. I'm like, that's literally like 3 years old.
Right. Yeah, it's just retreading the same stuff. I there's a funny thing with reviewers where a lot of reviewers will say that they try not to read anyone else's review before they write their own.
Mm.
And I kind of get why you want to preserve the purity of your opinion or whatever. And I get that for like maybe the day of, like something just came out, you think, well, I want to get my review out before I read everyone else's. But as for me, I'd rather read every other review of it, because then anything I say can be totally different. You know, I can, if I see someone else already said something like what I would have said, then there's no sense in me covering it. Like, for instance, Demolition D did a video on Me, the short anime film. And a lot of people asked me for my thoughts on that show, and I just linked them Demo's review. I was like, I have nothing to add to this. He said everything I would have said. Go watch his, you know? I don't want to make a video that's identical to his and anyone could have watched that, and it would have been the same thing. So, yeah, I'd rather know what everyone else is doing. And when I watch anime reviews on YouTube, they all have the same style, the same voice, they say the same shit that anyone could have figured out, that I could have read in a forum somewhere, and that is boring to me. There's some people who do a better job. There's Goat Jesus, who started doing analysis videos, and they're great. There's a guy called Ocelot who did a couple of great videos. There's someone I just subbed recently, I'm trying to remember, who had a great video on like what makes Toradora good, and that was cool. So there's like a few people who are doing it right, but a lot of them sort of bounce between like reviews and analysis, where they mostly do normal casual reviews, and then every once in a while they pull up this great nugget of analysis. I'm like, do more like that, do all that. Anime Addict's a great example of that, where he does a lot of like season preview guides, and I'm like, I don't care. And then he'll put out these he has a video series called Sucks or Not, which is based on Your Movie Sucks, but for anime. It was actually like he was inspired by partly Your Movie Sucks and partly by me doing my Sword Art Online videos, and so he was like, I'm gonna do that too, and they're great. He's done ones on Aldnoah Zero, and what the fuck was that show called? That show I fucking hated, Zanko no Terror, where
you started off hyper positive with that one, actually, didn't you?
Huh? Which one?
Zenkyo Terror, I think, like the first two.
Yeah, the first few episodes I was really positive, and then it completely fell apart. But like, I did a really terrible video on that show that I actually hid, because I was ashamed of it. And then that guy did like this huge breakdown of the show, like really getting into the bones of what didn't work about it. And I was like, awesome! Please make more videos like this. Here's the problem, though. Way fewer views on those videos than his other videos. So I get why no one's doing it. I get why the anime people are doing the generic videos. I get why Glass Reflections is the biggest channel, because he's generic. And supposedly, I've heard this from someone else who talks to him, that he is aware that he's generic and that he's doing it on purpose. Like, he's purposefully being middle of the road so that anyone can agree with him. You know?
See, the thing I don't get about that is how can, like, I know this is a very simple question, but how can people enjoy that stuff? Like, don't you think, wow, this is so...
The collective is...
Like, for some reason, like, if you actually go and read some of the comments in generic videos, like, I don't know, if you go to one of the Nostalgia Critics videos, go down and read the comments, you'll see, like, about the usual bunch of people making jokes and praising him, but then you'll see a whole other batch of people who watch his videos anyway, even though they hate them.
Right. Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah, so it is really weird. It's almost like...
I know a few of them. Like, Jesse Wood does that. He'll watch... I don't think he watches Nostalgia Critic anymore, but he'll watch a lot of YouTubers and just bitch about them all the time. And I'm like, why are you still watching these guys?
You're still a fan, actually, even if you're a hater. I come at that from...
Why the hell is he still watching Spoonie? All he does is bitch about Spoonie all the time, and he still watches Spoonie.
I'm thinking that's a pro wrestling fan perspective. You show up to watch someone get their ass kicked. Please suck today. Please be terrible.
It's sort of it's like I'm guilty of this too. I watch
Same.
Kid Icarus even though I hate him
Okay.
for some reason. I just don't know why. I just
Yeah,
have,
Kid
but-
Icarus.
and I know I'm aware of
Oh.
it. I'm just like
Very-
I don't like this guy. Why am I watching him? But I can't bring myself not to.
That's how I feel about Bob.
I occasionally watch Dr. Wolf, even though I hate his content.
You have a very weird watch cycle, Pasta. We've talked
I know,
about
I do.
this.
I do.
We need to get you some real
I,
fun things that you'll enjoy. It's okay.
No, no,
Are we gonna-
Digi
are we
did.
gonna
Digi
start
already
another
got me
feud or
covered.
something?
Okay.
It's like, you're not a real wolf.
You're not a real fucking psychologist either, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not a
Buddy.
real doctor.
I'd like to see that disclaimer on there. This is
Yeah.
medical
I actually-
entertainment.
I actually
Hello,
would,
I am Dr.
like,
Wolf, in
honestly
brackets, not a
really
real doctor.
want that disclaimer on his videos. I am not a fucking psychologist.
Yes.
I am a fucking accountant.
I play
Please
a
put that
medical
on your video.
I play a medical doctor on YouTube.
Yes.
By the way, warning, don't give a critique of any Dr. Wolf video in his comment section. You will get hate.
What
God.
kind? The
I
kind
can't even-
that, like,
I haven't even seen Dr. Wolf
Well-
fans, but
well,
I know
some of
what
us-
picture of.
Yeah, some of us don't worry about that hate, Pasta. Some of us revel in it.
Yeah. I think it's better to suffer in hate than revel in it.
Dr. Wolf
Uh.
is like WebMD without the MD.
Oh,
Well, you're going to be reveling in it at the end of this episode. I'm going to link your channel in the description.
So, by the way, my opinion of Catakaris is that PBG is a low Peanut Butter Gamer is a low rent JonTron, and Catakaris is a low rent PBG.
Ouch.
He's
really-
apparently used to be friends with Jesse Wood, and Jesse was like, I don't really care about his videos, but he's popular and he likes me, so he's okay.
Yeah, I've had someone saying, "Oh, Jesse might not be so bad. Cat Icarus follows Jesse Wood," and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Catty makes 2K on Patreon.
Oh, fucking.
I like to study who the hell's bringing in what.
Yeah, I do too. Just to fucking stew and resent. And I may complain, but I do support both Your Movie Sucks and Every Frame of Painting on Patreon myself. So
Yeah,
even though
there's
they
a
make a lot more than me, I contribute to it.
well, that's the real thing
And
you're competing.
Jesse.
Yeah, that's the real thing you're competing for. Who can get the most money?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, "Oh my God, I'm making more
Oh,
money."
man.
Yeah,
Matthew Matosis has caught up to me now too. In fact, he's passed me, but
I'm-
he's only on per month.
Yeah.
So
I'm a shitty podcaster and I make more than Munchkin. Anyways,
Who?
Mad Munchkin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Amy Methvin.
Yes, she's a cool person. Let's see, anything in here that really needs to be asked?
oh, here's a good
I have
question.
a
Go ahead.
question.
Are you going to BronyCon by chance? I'm guessing not.
I
but-
plan to, yes.
Oh,
actually.
sweet.
Did Gibbon
Because-
actually secure his spot or what?
I don't know. I haven't bought a ticket yet, but we had submitted a panel for the Horseshoe Crew to have all 6 of us on. Because Gibbon's actually planning to come to a BronyCon, which is why I'm going, because he's flying in all the way from the UK, and of course all the other guys are going. So I was like, well, we gotta all be there for the first big Horseshoe Crew meetup, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Gibbon comes, I'm definitely coming. Which I think he already got a visa, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna be there. But we haven't heard back about our panel yet, whether or not that's happening. So, because if you do a panel, you get in free, so that would be
Yeah.
really great. And I'm also going to Otakon once again. Thankfully, this time they're 2 weeks apart instead of 1 week apart, because that was fucking hell last year. But yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Cool. Cool. I'm planning on going as well. So.
All I'm gonna do
Yes.
is get super fucking thrashed the whole convention.
Yeah, it's gonna suck.
Why do you drink past?
What? No, I don't.
Oh, come on.
How old are you actually?
I'm 21.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
You could if you wanted to.
Yeah, I could.
I'll buy the booze. No?
I probably will. I mean, you
Ah.
probably can get me into it if you try real hard.
Yeah, you're
We
not hard to
probably
peer
won't need to
pressure.
try that.
I noticed that.
In my
Ah.
experience, pasta is not hard to peer pressure.
Yeah,
We
sadly.
pressured you into accepting the name pasta, even.
I just assume he rolled with it.
I hated it for like
Not
maybe
at first.
a week, 2 weeks. I forget when I accepted it. It was pretty early on.
I think that was Theory Brony. I haven't
Yeah.
even heard from him in fucking forever. But yeah, I think he came up with that
Yep.
back in the day.
He
Back in
he does
Crepuscular Bronies Discuss.
Yeah.
All that.
Oh my god! I forgot about Crepuscular Brody Discuss.
Yeah.
With fucking Biter.
Theory does some kind of VA thing on YouTube right now.
And Biter is still around, right? Isn't he
Yeah.
Still
making
pissing
it?
off people. Still only like 1,000 subs. He hasn't budged at all. He's the same old guy.
Oh man.
He just got in
He's a
trouble for
robot.
bitching it.
There's actually an anime guy who's almost exactly like him.
Oh,
like,
oh.
For the anime
I
sphere.
need the name. I need
It's
the
a guy called That Anime Snob.
Oh baby.
Also known as Rory, and he's like infamous because it's funny. His channel has like probably 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers, right? He's been around for a long time, but like it's one of those guys where everyone knows about him because he always hangs out in like the anime subreddit and posts constantly, and like he's infamous for just being such a fucking elitist prick. Like he thinks that his opinions are absolutely right about everything, and he writes these like he writes analysis, but it's always from like the perspective of whatever I think is what's right, you know. Fucking obnoxious. I can't stand his writing at all. When I first started doing anime stuff, he would comment on all my videos, and he would like get into debates with people and shit in my comments. I think I might have blocked him eventually. Like I got so sick of his shit that I blocked him. Either that or he just stopped commenting. But
I'd
yeah.
like to thank you for having never blocked me, as far as I know.
He's well, I blocked you on Skype before.
Well, no, that's different. That's perfectly all right. But I was like, well, if he hates me, why doesn't he block me from the channel? Oh well,
Right.
I'm not gonna
Well,
question
you
it.
leave lots of comments, and I like it anytime people. I love comments. I read all the comments on all my videos in case people weren't aware.
Oh, just to
every
piss off
comment.
Pasta, I try and leave positive comments.
No, like, dude, see, here, he's getting on my ass because I got on his yesterday. Like,
No, he doesn't care. You can tell him about that later. I had here's a more. You mentioned a gentleman named Aiden. Who's that guy? You said he was one of your peers that he wound up playing like Grand Theft Auto 4, and he's like, I like it because it sucks because of the it's so pain in the ass to learn how to drive in this, and I was like, this guy sounds like
yeah.
Biter.
Aiden, you're talking about the reviewer. Aiden.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, he's cool. His videos definitely come from a perspective that I cannot grasp. Like when he said that about like to explain what he's talking about, the channel is called The Examined Life of Gaming, and it's a guy who does video game analyses, usually of really old, obscure PC games and shit. But like he had a video on why he thought Grand Theft Auto 5 sucked compared to Grand Theft Auto 4, which is an opinion no one else has. And he was explaining that he loved the driving in 4 because you start off really shitty at it. It's like super hard, but like as you keep driving, you get better at it. Like you get more points and you can drive better. And he was like, yeah, I'd rather have that like incremental system. And people were like, why? It just means that the first half of the game, the driving fucking sucks. Like, why would you want that? But so you were saying he's like Pasta?
No, I thought he reminded the way you described him. I was like, this sounds like he's another Biter.
Oh. No, I don't think Biter's just an asshole. That's my problem.
Oh yeah, I figured it out really quickly. I was like, he's just being a dick on purpose.
Yeah.
I thought it was a personal.
I don't even know if it's on purpose. I just think he has a problem.
No, it is.
He thinks he's a fucking robot.
I've studied him.
He thinks he's a robot.
You can find the human
I've
guy.
actually come to get enjoyment from his videos, but you have to ignore his tone. You have to ignore everything. Like, just focus on the words. Just focus on the words.
Ironically enough, the human being part of Biter, where there's a fun person, is there when you kind of starts talking about video games, and I was like, oh my god, there's a human being in here. It's not worth finding. It's totally not worth finding, but it exists. It's like climbing a super giant mountain, getting to the top. I'm like, why the fuck did I do this again? I've told him that to his face. I was like, I know you. I've told people in front of him, it's there. I don't recommend it.
I love that. That's sort of like I don't know if you remember this. I did this video called Your Tastes Should Always Be Evolving.
Mhm.
And in this video, I make the somewhat controversial point, and I didn't really explain what I meant, that I think anyone could get into anything. It's a matter of, like, you just gotta spend enough time with something, and eventually you will probably find something to like about it. But what I didn't, like, the corollary to that is it's not really worth it. Like, why would you waste your time? Like, I'm sure that I could enjoy Sword Art Online unironically if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Like, I enjoy hating it more than I would ever enjoy liking it. So like instead of working to enjoy it, I'd rather just, be an asshole and hate on it. But I sometimes feel like when people criticize stuff and other people don't get it because they're in love with it, it's because those people were more willing to put up with the problems and they have found what's great about it, like the heart of what makes it good. I feel like, almost everything is good on some level. This is an argument Jesse Wood loves to put up. Jesse thinks that anything that someone made is automatically amazing because someone made it. Like, to make something, to be an artist, he considers artists to be better as human beings than everyone else. Like, he sees that as the greatest thing, is to be a creator. And so he was like, even something that's shitty is awesome in its own way because, like, it's got heart in it. It's got something human in there that translates to other people. So like even when you watch something as terrible as Sword Art Online, I understand why people like it. And I've explained this in my video. No one pays attention to the parts where I'm positive. They just hear me yelling. But I said in there, like, when I was 14, this would have been my favorite show ever because it's about a 14-year-old kid who's a badass. He's got a sword. He fights all these people. He gets all the girls. He's like the fucking coolest dude ever. And like when I was a kid, that would have been awesome to me. Just the fact that he was my age, the fact he was 14 and he kicked ass would have automatically made it my favorite show. And like, so I get where it can resonate with people. It's just that it's also a gigantic piece of shit. So
I was over Christmas. I was hanging out with one of my younger cousins who was 14, and he told me, "Oh, I'm really into anime. Are you into anime?" And I'm like, "Oh, not that much. What anime are you into?" He said, "Sword Art Online. It's my favorite show." And I said, "Oh, really? My friend is an anime blogger." And I directed him to your channel. I said, "Look up his."
Oh my gosh.
how did it go?
I haven't heard back from him yet, but he said he said he was on your channel and that he enjoyed your videos. I haven't heard if he reacted to the Sword Art Online ones yet. But
my little brother Shade, who's in high school, has actually shown my videos to like basically anyone who says that they're an anime fan. He's actually had people at his school, like a couple of people, even back in the Pony days, who like knew about my videos before he told them, which I think is fucking rad. But he's shown them to a few people, and there's been a few who are like, "Oh man, his Sword Art Online videos made my day. It was the best thing ever." And then there's like one guy who was like, "Fuck your brother. He's a fucking idiot. He's an asshole. Sword Art Online's amazing." So
Yeah.
definitely, that's my favorite. Like, my favorite thing is hearing from other people that like people I know that they made someone else watch it and then finding out how those people reacted.
Yeah.
But
I actually do have a friend who's really into sort of all visual media, movies, games, anime, etc. And I sent him not just your videos, but also all of the videos of analysts that I stumble across via your links and your recommendations, like Matthew Matosis, Errant Signal, Your Movie Sucks, etc. And he always asks me how I come across so many, and I always have to tell him, "Oh, I just get to them via DigiPro." So my question to you is, how do you come across them? So many.
So a big part of it is that I just go out of my way to look for this stuff. Here, I'll you know what? I know I'm always long-winded about everything, so bear with me here, but I'm gonna go through this historically. Yes? Who? What?
Oh, I just was saying,
Okay.
historically.
All right, historically. So
Yes.
I discovered YouTube analysis videos through, I believe, Egoraptor's, what's it called, Sequelitis videos. Somehow I came across the Mega Man X1, and it was like blew my fucking mind. I might have been asking around about it or something, like asking for video game analysis, and someone sent me that. And seeing Sequelitis was what gave me the idea that, like, wow, you can analyze something on YouTube, and people will watch it and give a fuck, because I was writing an anime blog at the time that no one was reading, and like I had a little readership at first, but like once I started covering Pony and video games, because that was like 2012, all I did was talk about Pony and video games, and no one was reading it. So I found out about Sequelitis, and I was like, cool, people can do this on YouTube, and I made like a whole post like saying how I really would like to see more YouTube analysts. And so someone linked me Campster, which is Errant Signal, and Penny Arcade's, at the time it was on Penny Arcade's, Extra Credits. So I found out about those two, watched all their videos, and it was through Aaron Signal that I realized that I had a place on YouTube, because he was just doing straight up dry, no comedy, no animation. It wasn't like Sequelitis, it's just him analyzing a fucking thing, and people were watching it. I was actually severely overestimating how many people watched his channel, because he would have like 30,000 views, and that to me was like unfathomable amount of views. You know, now I think 30,000, I'm like, okay, that's pretty normal. It's like he's not getting rich off of 30,000 views, you know. But it was this huge number of views to me, so I was like, oh my god, I have a place on YouTube. I'm gonna make analysis videos. It doesn't matter how boring and dry they are. And so I think I probably found Hyperbit Hero through the fact that he collabed with Errant Signal, and then he's good friends with the Gaming Brit. That would have led me to him. I think Jesse Wood linked me Super Bunny Hop's video on Metal Gear Solid 2. Someone linked me that. Someone was like, this is the best analysis video I've ever seen. Linked me to Super Bunny Hop, so found him through that. And then Your Movie Sucks, I know was Jesse, because it was the Walking Dead videos, the big series he did on that, like those kind of blew up and a lot of people were watching them. So Jesse sent me that, and that's how I found Your Movie Sucks. I'm now scrolling down through my YouTube subscriptions at this point, so we're gonna try to go alphabetical.
I remembered when the first time you mentioned Super Bunny Hop, I looked it up. It had like 1,000 views. I think like a couple weeks ago, I looked up like 40,000 or something like that. I'm like, oh, that always freaks me out when I see that.
Yeah. And JonTron, I had found out because slightly before Game Grumps, Aaron Hansen, Egoraptor, had hit like on one of JonTron's videos, which was the Banjo-Kazooie one, Nuts and Bolts, the Nuts and Bolts video. And I was following Egoraptor's likes on YouTube, because at this time I was following like 2 channels. So I found JonTron through that, and then of course they started Game Grumps, and then I found some other like channels and shit through Egoraptor liking stuff. I'm trying to remember how I found Anime Addicts. Oh, it was because... Alright, wait. To figure this out, I had to figure out how I found Demolition D. So Demolition D was... I think I like had an open letter on YouTube, like, or not YouTube, on Twitter or something, like asking for anime channels, and I found a bunch of them, and I went to Demolition D, and he was the only one I liked. In fact, actually, the way I found every other YouTube channel was on the r/anime subreddit. Every month, someone puts together a power ranking of all the anime-related channels on YouTube, where it links them by subscriber count. So, like, I'm usually around 17 or so on this list. So I watched everyone who had more subs than me, and out of all of them, the only one I thought was worthwhile was Demolition D, and I loved his videos. And then I was in the comments on one of his videos, I think on the Me one. I was like having a little conversation with him in the comments, and someone asked if I knew any other anime channels, and I said, well, I only really know Demolition D. And then someone else linked me Anime Addicts, so I found him through that. Anthony C I found out about through Tommy Oliver. Tommy Oliver I found out because he had messaged me on YouTube, and then Tom and Anthony C did that collab together. Of course, all the pony people basically all contacted me, so I know all them through that. Let's see. Who else do I know? I recently saw Devu, the Devu. I don't know if you guys know the Devu.
I saw his season. I
watched his
4 and 5 predictions.
Video on what was it, Gravity Falls.
Right, yeah.
But
the Devu edits.
Nothing else.
The Devu edits a lot of my videos, and he's like my biggest diehard fanboy on earth. And he started just sending me any review channels that he finds that he thinks are okay. So I found out about a show called Chase Face Show, which is somewhat new, and it's very Sequelitis-esque, but like actually on the quality level of Sequelitis almost. And he's doing like a series on Sonic the Hedgehog. Jesse introduced me to the Cinemasochist, who's a like B-movie reviewer. I don't remember how I found Critical Hit. I think it was I made a video on Frozen, and then someone commented that these guys had done a Frozen video, and so I found them through that. So it's like always someone in the comments, someone on Twitter, someone I'm friends with, someone sends me a link, and if I see a link to an analysis video, I'm going to watch it, like no matter what. Or someone will mention that someone made a video on something, and I'll be like, oh, cool. Or retweets. Like there's this great video called This Is Phil Fish that was like sort of went viral by a channel called Innuendo. I was going to conclude my rant by saying I've put together this Google Doc of all the analysis channels that I think are worth following right now, guys who are active and putting out great content. Go to my Twitter. It's a pinned tweet on there, so you'll find that. But it's like a good 50 channels that I recommend people. Most of them on video games, because goddamn, that is a saturated market.
Oh, did you at least a link to that I can include in the description, or?
Oh yeah, sure.
are video games good in like saturated in a good way or a bad way? Like tons of shit.
Well, there's always
Depends
tons
on
of
who you
shit.
watch.
I
Depends on who
can't
you watch.
decide. Because there's a lot of great channels that all cover the same games, and that's because the thing is like the games that get the most analysis tend to be like Western RPGs because they have like big deep storylines, and so everyone likes talking about them, or like all the big AAA releases that are interesting. So there's times where for a while there was a time where like Errant Signal would put out a video on a game, and then Super Bunny Hop would have a video on the same game that was almost the same points being made. Some burps. So that went on for a while. I think now most analysis channels are now aware of each other, because for a long time they really weren't. Like, I was watching all these guys independently, and none of them really knew about each other. And they'd all make similar videos. And now all of them follow each other on Twitter. I know because I follow them all, and I see them all reply to each other. So I know that they all follow each other now. So, like, everyone's watching Matthew Matosis. Everyone's watching Errant Signal if they're making video game analysis videos. And even guys like Egoraptor. Egoraptor name-dropped Matthew Matosis on Game Grumps. So, like, even big-name people are, like, sort of seeing all the guys who are making videos now. So, I think there's more diversity emerging, but goddamn, there's so many fucking channels. I've got like 25 gaming channels on this list, which I will link now in the Skype. There's just too many, and too many of them talking about the same games. I'd like to, like, even back when I first started writing about video games. Are you on the video game section?
I'm on the book. I'm on the book section, but I was just like,
there's only I think 2 channels on books, you and Thug Notes.
Here's a rather dumb question. Do you think that you're ever going to get into at least watching like the Horse Crew pony analysis or pony videos or whatever?
Oh, the Horseshoe Crew ones? I'll always watch them because it's those guys. Although I passed out during the TBAP. I watched Tom while I was setting up cameras and shit, but they're just doing it for money. Like Tom said, he was originally he had planned that he was going to make a video on the season 5 premiere before it came out. And then once he saw it, he didn't like it at all. Like, he was totally like, fuck it, I don't care, this is dumb. I hated it. And so he was like, I don't want to make a video about it because then everyone's going to bitch at me for hating it, right? Then someone sent him $150 and said, I can't wait to watch you bash on this episode. So he did a vlog.
I literally you missed this. I was in Sheldon's PFC chat, and I remember Owen from the Rift is like, "There's no one who could bitch about this." I was like, "I bet we could get Tom to."
Yeah. So that's what happened. Someone sent him $150, and he said, "Fuck, I got to do it." And he was like, "I might gain." He actually. The funny thing is, he made a vlog. He didn't even edit it at all. It's one take, one cut. It's just him talking about the episode, no editing. Still has over 10,000 views instantly, which is more than anything he's done since the last season. Huge like bar. Everyone loved it.
You know why he got that like bar? Because he put in that optional, you can skip all the negative stuff.
Yeah, I love that. Which, that was... I wonder if anyone did that. Like, I was like, are people really gonna, like, click that link? And I bet they did.
I'm just gonna pretend he's positive.
That you act like that option literally burns a hole in your ass, Pasta.
The thing, the makeup for it is that in the negative part, he basically says, fuck all you who want me to...
Welcome to my opinion video. Click here to skip my actual opinion.
Yeah, so Tom didn't like it, but his video was successful anyways. TBAP seemed pretty much completely unimpressed in their video. I couldn't finish theirs. Fucking Ben was farther away from the mic than Nate, and it drove me insane. Like, you could tell they were at different distances from the microphone, and one was loud, the other was quiet, and I was like, why would you do this? But they actually lost patrons for theirs because it's so obviously like they just do it together. Like, I actually went on Patreon. This made me sad. Someone left a comment that was like, I held on all this time hoping that you were going to... it was like, I paid for all your shitty fucking Let's Plays that you've been patroning all this time just on the hopes that you were going to come back for Season 5 and make real videos again. I figured you deserved, like, the money in the meantime because of what you did before, but now I realize I've wasted my time and money, unsubscribed, unpatroned. And I was like, God damn.
Wow.
That guy let him have it.
Oh shit.
Funnily enough,
Right.
Jesse said he might come back for season 5 just because he's thoroughly enjoying it already.
I've actually
Even though he's been working on Horseshoe Finale for over a fucking year now. The last video that will end his pony thing. And he was like, yeah, I might just put out Horseshoe Finale and then immediately do a season 5 video anyway.
I mean, I'm planning to, but really the key is don't trust my word because my word is not reliable.
Right?
we know.
Yeah. But Gibbon, I think the video he just put out is supposed to be the one where he's like finally saying I'm not doing it. He doesn't plan to come back. But
See, like, I don't blame people. Like, I don't blame any of you guys for not coming back. Not just because, like, of where Pony's headed, but also just because, like, it's a shitty market.
right.
Well,
So,
I just don't have anything to say. Like, if I still had something to say, I would. But I covered everything about Pony I wanted to say. And then, to me, like, what really sealed it for me is that the elements of Brony is there. And, like, to me, that really says everything. Like, we went into everything that could be said. And then the fact that Neil, who is still completely in love with the show, he loved the season 5 premiere. He's never felt bad about anything. And, you know, even though we recorded all the videos for that in fucking 2013 is when all of the elements of Brony was recorded. Everything you're hearing is a 2-year-old conversation. But through the editing, he works in everything that's come out since then. So, like, he'll use scenes from season 4 to you know, to help our points and stuff like that. And make it look like it's still, like, up to date in spite of the fact that it was recorded so long ago. And, like, watching his videos, I'm like, we said it all here. I have nothing to add. We covered all the broad concept stuff, which is the stuff that's interesting. Like, I don't find the episode by episode stuff that intriguing because my opinions change wildly on a lot of that stuff. And
Yeah.
personally, I don't like most of my Pony videos. I think most of them are pretty bad. Like, a lot of my opinions are different about the episodes, or they just weren't that well made, weren't well edited. I wasn't good at speaking yet in a lot of them. I'm particularly embarrassed about, like, for instance, the Applebuck season video, where it's just like me raving about how it's my favorite episode and I love it so much and everything's amazing and I can't even analyze it. I just want to gush. And it's like just embarrassingly badly made video where I don't really say anything about the episode. And now that I don't feel that strongly about it, it means nothing to me. I'm like, what would I get out of this video in the future? You know, I think the S4 Diary videos hold up specifically because I didn't talk about my feelings towards the episode. I just talked about broad concept stuff. Like, this scene reminded me of this life experience, and that will always be relevant because I had that life experience. Whereas me saying, like, well, this episode had bad pacing, it's like, in a year I won't fucking care about the pacing, you know?
Yeah.
I've always said that pacing arguments are the hardest thing to hold up, because when you look at something a second time, the pacing does not feel the same because you know it's coming, you know? Which is why my my old Magical Mystery Cure video was just me saying, if you thought the pacing was bad, watch it again and you're going to feel different. And I got tons of comments from people saying that they did that. Like, they watched it a second time and the pacing didn't bother them and they were fine with it, you know.
Plus, I mean, like, putting in those personal statements, that's the best way to make your stuff, like, unique, because no one can do that. Like, that's you.
Right, no one else has the experiences. And I just did my video, A Tale of Memories, which is like an S4 Diary video for anime, essentially. And, you know, a lot of people, like, the way people react to those kind of videos tends to be like, they get really emotionally invested in those videos. You know, those are the videos that like I said before, when S4 Diaries came out, then I got way fewer views, but my comments got way longer, way more in depth. I got a lot more comments. I had people coming back to comment on every video. I gained way more patronage on my videos. So, like, those videos struck a chord with the people that were watching them. It wasn't just, oh, you parroted my opinions on this show back to me. I'm so happy. It was like, wow, you've caused me to think deeply about this show that I...
Oh my gosh, you made people think. Thank you.
I know. What a wonderful thing.
Uh,
So yeah, those are the videos I'm the most proud of.
I'll
I don't
try.
know what the question was. I don't know how I got.
Yeah,
on.
I don't know how we got here either. I was gonna ask, since Digibro actually brought up Neil X, he supposedly wants to be on at some point in time. I think
what?
Neil X said he wanted to actually be
Oh,
on the show
yeah.
to promote Elements. I know Digi said he expressed an interest in that. Would I be able to book you two again as co-hosts for that one?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. Cloud?
Yes. I thought you were talking to Digi.
Oh, no, I've already gotten Digi to agree, I think.
Oh, okay.
Unless things have changed. Things do change.
No, I can be there for that. Me and
Certainly.
I think with the Elements of Brony, what's funny about that series is that me and Neil talk about it constantly, because it's all he's been fucking doing for the past 2 years is editing this gigantic fucking video series. So for everyone else, for a year, it's completely out of mind and they don't think about it, and then it comes out and it's like, oh Jesus, 3 hours of video. But for me and him, it's like every single day he messages me about this video and like all the deep thoughts he has. We get into conversations about the subjects in those videos like that are hours long.
Has he ever had like a
Wow.
breaking point where he's like, I hate this show. I can't look at this anymore. I want to kill myself.
As in Elements of Brony,
Yeah. Is he like, I don't want to do it anymore. Oh, I lost a bunch of footage today.
He's had the main things that have made him want to question it is just that they don't get the attention they deserve. Like, because they're so long, no one wants to sit through them, and it's really hard to promote them. You can't sell people on 3 hours. Like, not only a 3-hour video, but hey, it's part 4, and the other 3 parts are also 3 hours long. You know,
Yeah.
like. He realized like the other day that's like, yeah, this is gonna be like 20 hours when it's all done. It's a fucking enormous series.
If he
So-
cut it down to like just 10-minute videos, do you think that would actually get more attention? Like,
I don't
cutting
know.
it
I mean,
down that
he's
much?
been doing stuff like he's been releasing like little tidbits of it, like to like as promo videos and stuff.
Mhm.
But I don't know because it's so like necessary for them to be that long. Like they're not broken up in a convenient way to release as smaller videos. And I don't know. It's a really hard debate because whenever I break up videos, you see a noticeable drop off between each part. You know, like part 1 will get like Sword Art Online. My big bitching about Sword Art Online 2. The first part out of 4 has 100,000 views. It's my most viewed anime video, and then all the other ones have 30,000. So there's like this massive drop off of people who care. Because they won't go through the trouble of finding part 2. You know, it's not as easy as just watching the whole fucking thing at once. He's even splitting them in 2, and even then, the second half always has way fewer views than the first half. So, yeah, I don't know if splitting them up would be better, but I definitely think that it's just been a huge pain to promote, and even when we get a lot of people promoting it, like even though it's been on EQD, I've made a promotion video, Tom and Neil have, it still doesn't have a lot of views because it's still a 3-hour My Little Pony analysis, every time.
Well, it's a semi podcast, and for being that, it gets appropriate views.
We consider it a documentary more than a podcast. Like, it's born from what was essentially a podcast, but the amount of editing that's done to it to make it flow and to make it like have more cohesive points, especially part 4, feels more like you're watching a documentary than a podcast. Just because it's so constant with its very little time is spent just looking at people talking. Most of your time is spent looking at clips from interviews and shows and stuff like that. I consider it more of a documentary series than that. But yeah, it's just funny because we talk about it so much, and we're planning to do this is going to be the part where no one watches, but we're actually planning to do commentaries on the episode.
Oh.
Because we talk about them so much and we have such lengthy, and me and him are thinking about we've had all kinds of plans for like once he's done with Elements of Brony, we'll do other videos together. Like we want to do podcasts, he wants to do other analysis videos. So we've got all these plans to do things together because he's been so busy with the series that he hasn't been able to break away from it. And I'm just like, all the time I'm like, dude, I want you to move on and do the next thing. For a long time, I was begging him to do a series of Buddhist analysis of My Little Pony because he's a Buddhist, and he would like all the time an episode would come out and he'd tell me about how it relates to his Buddhist philosophy and shit. And I'd be like, dude, make this a video. And he's like, I can't. I'm too busy with Elements of Brony. So
Oh, so many people would watch that though.
yeah, it would have been great, but he just didn't have the time and chance to do it. I know he has plans after Elemental Brony's over to do like another epic analysis of the the Lord of the Rings books, and then something on Rurouni Kenshin. But that's all I know of his plans. But yeah, so anyway, do you have any more questions?
Oh hell, I think we're golden. I was going to ask one more about if I ever do eventually get Jesse on, would you want to co-host for that one as well?
Have you not had Jesse on?
I ironically enough have not had Jesse.
For some reason, I thought you had everybody.
I remember you saying that. I was thinking about that today. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Drowning. Like the timing would always be off or something. I was like, oh, I've got somebody good this week. I'll come back to it later. And not that I wouldn't. Yeah, I know Jesse's the shit. Like absolutely, I think he would have been amazing. But there was a time we almost had him on.
I can't even imagine what it's like. I can't imagine the hell that would be trying to interview Jesse.
Oh, we had a good one out of Gibbon. Crap, man, how hard could it be?
Wasn't the one with Gibbon like Cider talking the whole time?
No. Like I think originally after I got it done, I was trying to win you over when you had me blocked on Skype. I sent like a message on YouTube. I was like, "Here's $10. Look at the Gibbon podcast." And the next day, Gibbon and Ben were like PMing me, "What the fuck, man? How come you don't give us money?" So I had to turn around and pay Gibbon. And I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
I told them that you had sent me money. They were like, "What the fuck?
Yeah,
How do you get paid for our video?"
Did you do that on purpose to get me in trouble? Because that sure happened.
No, because I was just like, I couldn't understand why you kept sending me money to be on your podcast.
I don't know. Like I'm a fan, man. Have you ever not noticed that I've been like trying to be cool?
Yeah, no, you're cool.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
He's on his unusually good behavior.
Yeah.
Your former co-hosts are trying to make you seem like an asshole.
Oh.
They're sending me messages. I'll out it. Corpulent Brony is trying to convince me that you're out to.
Oh, I was about to pay you to find out who the hell was doing that, but I'm pretty sure.
No, it's Corpulent Brony.
I'm not shocked. Yeah.
He was trying to convince me that this whole podcast is a secret trap.
We had a.
Why would he do that? Like who would spend? Because all that would happen would be I would leave.
Yeah, we had a falling out the other day. He ended up flooding my check because he got all annoyed about something, and I was like, "Yeah, you're off the podcast." The one with Digi? Yep, the one with Digi. And he had a breakdown about it, and I'm like, yeah, he'd keep doing things like, you're still out, I don't care.
I already told you
why he wasn't here.
I already told you on the pub crawl, like it wouldn't have mattered who you brought on because I talk too much. Like I'm gonna talk the whole time, and that's exactly what happened.
I think I had a good crew, man. I thought that I'm glad that Pass Analysis. I'm glad I had Cloud.
Yeah, you made good choices because I'm good. I know these guys. I've shared rooms with Past Analysis once before.
Yeah, I'm sharing a room with him at BronyCon. He doesn't do anything creepy, does he?
No, Pass is super cool.
Yeah, that's the only thing
He was with me when we exodused from the people who were doing stuff that was creepy. When we got held at knife point by a crazy man at BronyCon.
Can I not?
2013.
Can we not hang out where you were hanging out with that day pasta?
Don't worry, we'll never ever go there again.
Okay,
so.
Groovy beans.
Yeah, good time. That was a fun experience.
You and Victor, you really went out on those guys like, fuck you, man.
I think they deserved it. When someone starts threatening you with a knife, you should you should really be on your toes. Victor said he almost football tackled that guy. Like he was ready to beat the shit out of him, and he could have too. Yeah, and of course Cloud. I don't think we've ever spoken directly, have we, Cloud?
No, so always through text chat.
Yeah, I'd seen I think a couple
times. But you
times.
sound exactly like you do in your videos, so it sounds completely natural to me.
Yeah, except not as stupidly fast. But yeah.
I think I've heard you in podcast context before, probably in one of these, in one of the.
Yeah. The only podcast I think I've been on that I can remember is this one. There might be another one, but.
Well, we had you on. We had you on 2 shows. I think it was.
I mean,
Vivi pulled that day and you saved my ass. I'd like to thank you for that, as he did several times. This week, in fact. Yeah. Fucking Amatune.
By the way, I hope your interview with me was all you hoped it to be.
It was. Holy shit. Oh my god. I was sitting there like having like a migraine and like all paranoid about it, and I was like, oh, this is so good. I'm gonna rub this into Sheldon when I get back. Oh, dude, he was so awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it was a good time for you because you have been trying to get me on here for a bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This has definitely been worth the. I kept saying, well, you know what? Even if it's terrible, I've enjoyed the trip. I've enjoyed actually meeting all your friends. Even though I think, I don't know, I was concerned a bit about some of the language. I think it was what's his name used? Keg.
Who?
Keg.
Oh, Keg? Oh,
Okay.
You can't. Keg is a bro.
Oh yeah, he's the legitimate article.
That's his cutie mark, man. Like being a bro.
Right. It's funny, yeah. He's weirdly close to the character of Keg Standard.
Yeah, I noticed that. Oh, will you be on the pub crawl tonight? Did you? Or is it the 2 o'clock, the extra kickback too far?
No, I'm not gonna be able to be on tonight because I have to get up early in the morning.
Oh, okay, certainly.
So,
Well,
in fact, I'm gonna go message them that.
all right, no problem. If anyone has any final words,
No, just it was
It's been a
pretty
pleasure,
fun.
I guess.
all right. Thank you very much. I enjoyed having each and every last one of you on. Take care.